All right, guys. Now, Jamahal Salty Dreams Hill is doing clapbacks or something, which I'll just say is very Jamahal of him. But then it actually got me thinking. If Jamal Hill was like a foot shorter, he would actually make the perfect body double for Ja Rule. Okay, I just thought I would point that out. But in this clapback video, Jamahal talks about both Jiri Prochazka and Magomed Ankalaev in a way that I thought was just absolutely insane. Okay, now, if I'm being honest, I think that Jamahal knocks out Jiri Prochazka, but it's like Jamahal Hill is just incapable of making good arguments for himself because the things he says in this video are very stupid and crazy, and I want to talk a bit about it, okay?
Oh, and people keep coming at me, man. People keep coming at me these last few days, last couple weeks, and whatnot. And I wanted to take the high road on this. I really, really wanted to take the high road. I've been trying to let it slide, but I put it in my GPS, and I couldn't find it. So now I'm gonna bring it to y'all. You know what I'm saying? Like, I got time today. It's one of those type of days, We got guys like Mr. Ankle Grabber, Ankle Lab, whatever his name is. Y'all know the weird guy that kind of look like what's his name? Abraham Lincoln. Yeah, Mr. Honest Abe over here.
All right, so Jamahal Hill's gonna start off this clapback video by talking about Magomed Ankalaev. Now, first of all, I want to point out that I'm concerned with what's going on in this room because Jamahal Hill cannot stop looking to his right, and he's got this really big grin on his face. Okay, so I have no idea what's going on in this room, but it seems like something is going on in this room. Either that or he's trying to glance at a teleprompter. I can't tell. Let me know down in the comments what you guys think. It kind of degenerate activities is going on in this room. But aside from that, I also want to point out towards the end when he addresses who he's going to be speaking about first, he puts on this like weird New Yorkish accent towards the end that I've not heard Jamahal Hill speak in before.
Yeah, Mr. Honest Abe over here.
So it's just that was a little strange to me. Okay, I don't know what's going on with Jamahal Hill. He does it a few times throughout the course of this video, but I just thought I would point that out.
Just can't stop talking about me, man. He laid out his plans, which was cool. You got a title shot coming up. You earned it in one of the fucking worst fights of the year. And that's good on you. And you could have just went with that, right? You could have been like, hey, I'm going to beat Alex. They want me to rematch him. I'll rematch him. And I can fight whoever. You got to call somebody. You got to get to talk about calling somebody a bum. Bum?
Okay, guys, I mean it. I'm concerned for it. What the fuck was that? What the fuck was that? And as he sits up, it's like he's so excited that his head pops up from his shoulders. I didn't even know that it could go that high. It usually just sits where it should be sitting, but when he sat up to emphasize, bum, his head popped up like a jack-in-the-box. I didn't know his neck could stretch that big. That was insane. And I mean it. It has me concerned, okay? I'm concerned for Jamahal Hill. I've never heard him use these weird voices before. Now, maybe he's just trying to be funny, or he's just feeling loosey-goosey about the whole situation, okay? But listen, I don't know what that was. Very strange, okay? But we're going to get into what he's got an issue with Magomed Ankalaev.
Is insane, bro. Bum is insane. For the simple fact of, one, to you, I'm a bum in no realm on facet of anything. We have common opponents, so we can measure the value of each one of our game and each one of our fighting styles. Remember Santos, they dropped you, you went to a decision, hugging him, and all of those things. Yeah, I finished that guy. You remember how you got a title shot, just, given whenever the belt was vacant, and you fumbled it because you you couldn't stop leg kicks, or you decided to be a crotch sniffer for the last fucking 2 rounds or whatever, you know, and you fumbled then. But who stepped up to the plate? Champ, as you may call me.
Okay, guys. Now, first of all, I want to point out that we heard that weird accent again when he said whatever. Like he's got it's strange. I've not heard Jamahal Hill speak like this before, okay? But not just that. This is what I mean by Jamahal Hill cannot make good arguments for himself, because this argument I'm going to use against you, Jamahal Hill, despite the fact that he tries to get ahead of that in a little bit here. But he's trying to compare common opponents with Magomed Ankalaev, okay? And he brings up Thiago Santos, which is fine, I guess. Although Jamahal Hill fought Thiago Santos in quite literally his last fight in the UFC. And not only that, he had lost 5 of his last 6. The only person that Thiago Santos was able to beat was Johnny Walker before he left the UFC, right? And yes, Magomed did struggle with Thiago Santos a little bit, but to be fair, so did Jamahal Hill. It took him about until halfway through the 4th round to get him out of there, okay? So if I was Jamahal Hill, I would have brought up Johnny Walker. If we're going to talk about common opponents, I would have brought up Johnny Walker and how I got him out of there in a round. And you had to, you needed 2 tries to get Johnny Walker out of there because you couldn't just not hit him illegally or whatever. So it's strange to me that even when even when he makes an argument for himself that's not good to begin with, he doesn't even pick the best version of it. Okay, he doesn't even pick the best version of it, but it's just, it's crazy to me, dude. Jamahal Hill he needs help, okay? He truly needs help.
Now, moving on to somebody who has accomplished, won the title. He's a champ as well. Everybody knows by now the cat's out of the bag. I'll be fighting Jiri Prochazka January 18th in Los Angeles. And it's a fight I've been waiting for a long time. I've been calling for this fight for 4-5 years now. And it's finally gonna happen. We got it signed on the dotted line. I signed, he signed. And he decided out of the blue, out of nowhere, to just come at me and, send some shots my way. For anybody who hasn't seen it, we'll plug it in.
Jamal, don't speak about my performances, fight IQ, and all these things, because in your last fight, you didn't show nothing, really. And the same guy, same Ankalaev, in your last 3 fights, you showed totally nothing. So stay on the ground. And okay, so let's see you 18th of January. I'm going to win. I'm going for win. Let's go.
Okay, guys. Now, first of all, what I want to point out is Jiri Prochazka is absolutely autism maxing here, as much as he possibly can, which I guess is the definition of maxing, but you know what I mean, okay? He is going off. And it was funny when he tried to tell Magomed to stay on the ground and then just trailed off mid-sentence because he didn't know what he was going to say next. But this is why we like Jiri Prochazka, okay? Because he's not usually a trash talker. And what I thought was funny is before this clip played, Jamahal Hill said that out of the blue, Jiri Prochazka decided to come out and talk about me, right? Now, that is very obviously not true. If you watch the clip that Jamahal Salty Dreams Hill himself inserted into the video, okay? Because in that clip, Jiri starts it off by saying, Jamahal Hill, don't talk about my fight IQ and things like this. So it was what do you mean out of the blue? Jiri Prochazka was doing a clapback, Jamal. So really, this is like a clapback of a clapback. But what it sounds like to me is that you decided you were going to talk badly about Jiri Prochazka, probably in some attempt to diminish what Alex Pereira has done, because you are still unbelievably salty about that. But it's just funny that the clip that you provide proves what you said 10 seconds prior incorrect. Okay, Jiri Prochazka did not decide out of the blue he was going to talk about you. He was clapping back. Okay, Jamal, which you know a lot about, apparently. So I just thought I would point that out real quick.
You know, so in this little rant that he went on, he says, "Don't talk about his fight IQ or his fights, because my last performance, I showed nothing." Bro, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? So we had the same opponent last fight, right? You can say whatever, try to go with the wave. Like, that seemed to be the thing now, because I get a lot of hate within the community and all of that. A lot of y'all want to try to jock on that. But I'm really don't care, and I'm really going to come at you, right? Your last performance, you got dominated. Dominated and knocked out. Completely shut down, completely exposed, right? And then got done bad, bro. You did bad. I got caught. You got dominated. It's a huge difference.
Okay, guys, now this is actually insane, and it's also very concerning. I've said this a few times throughout the course of this video. I'm being dead serious. I am concerned for Jamahal Hill's mental state, okay? But what I want to point out to you just immediately, quickly off the bat, is we got a bit of that New York accent again, which is just, it's odd, okay? But regardless, when we look at the other stuff he said, he goes on to get very upset that Jiri Prochazka said he showed nothing in his last fight, and goes on to describe Jiri Prochazka's performance against Alex Pereira, and ends up, in my opinion, describing exactly his performance, okay? It's very strange to me that he still has this absolute delusion about his fight with Alex Pereira, and it's also absolutely hilarious that at the beginning he tries to address the fan base because he says he gets a lot of hate or whatever. Now, first of all, I held off on making fun of Jamahal Hill as long as I could, but he brought it completely on himself. Okay, he did 100%. He might be the most deserved made fun of fighter of all time. But he says, and listen, I am a body language expert. When he goes to talk about that, he speeds up really fast. He goes, "And I really don't care." And he says, "But I'm gonna come at you." Well, what do you, Jamal, if you don't care, why are you gonna come at me? Like, I don't understand it. It's very strange. It's a complete contradiction, okay? But when you listen to him talk about Jiri Prochazka's fight, it's like he truly has this insane, diluted version of what happened in his fight with Alex Pereira that is taking up his memory, okay? It's almost completely identical what happened. Did Alex Pereira land more shots in the second fight with Jiri Prochazka? Yeah, he did. But he also had a few extra minutes to do so, right? Because Jamahal Hill got knocked out in 3 minutes. Jiri Prochazka took a little over 5. And in the first fight, Jiri Prochazka lasted longer than both of them did. And, landed very similarly the amount of shots that Alex Pereira did. But let's talk about that second fight, because they're talking about their last performance. But this is what I meant, that Jamal Hill's own argument's going to get used against him. Now, I got caught, you got dominated. Jamahal Hill, you did not get caught with a lucky shot, because that's how that phrase is commonly used, right? You got caught with a shot that you didn't see, or that was lucky, or whatever. You got, from the get-go, from the opening second of your fight at UFC 300, you got set up, okay? Alex Pereira found a way around your defense in 3 minutes, and that's exactly what happened. Because every time somebody hits you to the body, Jamahal, almost every time you enter any exchange ever, actually, you drop your lead hand, which is exactly what Alex Pereira wanted to see. And I don't understand how you didn't try to square that away before you went into that fight, knowing that he wants exactly that. Okay, it is actually very comparable to what happened to Jiri Prochazka. Jiri Prochazka got set up from the opening moment of that fight in more than one way. He got set up with body kicks for the switch kick later, and he got set up with the left hook with body jabs, the exact same way that Jamahal Hill got set up. Jamahal Hill got dominated. Okay, I'm sick of this narrative. Just because Alex Pereira caught him with a clean shot and got to finish him off, easy peasy. In the time that they were in the fight, he doubled him up on significant strikes. Okay, I'll put those statistics up on screen for you. And more than half of Jamahal Hill's significant strikes were just leg kicks, right? So I don't understand what the fuck he is saying here. And I will reiterate, I am truly concerned for Jamahal Hill.
You feel what I'm saying? I don't even need to go into no details about my fight with it. We can just talk about your but my man's literally had your ponytail leaning to the left. I hope you wear that. I hope you wear that same ponytail in LA so I can lean that motherfucker to the left right back for you. You know what I'm saying? Like this is this is insane. We talking about a dude who is getting his ass whooped in every fight that you've been in. And because you are you know what I mean? You can take some shots and people get tired and they make low IQ moves. The only reason why you became the champ is because Glover made a low IQ move in a moment. And you took advantage of it. Good on you. That's why you will be regarded as a champ. But you got your ass whooped for most of that fight. Do you not forget? I set a record, the complete domination, didn't drop a single round, and you barely scraped by. Like, you want to talk about performances, talk about my last performance. We can go into every performance. I put on dominant performances. You survive and get a win.
All right, now I want to first point out, like, he's teasing Jiri Prochazka for the way that he got knocked out against Alex Pereira, but it's funny because there's a very similar footage of Jamahal Hill trying to get back to his feet too early because his ego has taken over and he doesn't want to admit that he just got knocked out, and he stumbles and Herb Dean has to catch him, you know? So after he just got literally emoted on. Okay, and then Jamahal Hill goes on to criticize Jiri Prochazka for the way that he fights, which is fine. It's a fair criticism, but it's just strange to me, right? He goes back to this common opponent argument. Not only does he leave out context, but this argument apparently in Jamahal Hill's mind only doesn't work against him. So I don't know if he needs like water. His salt, like he's got some salt imbalance or some shit. This guy needs water. His brain is dehydrated. Somebody get him a refreshment. But it's just, it's crazy to me, okay? Because he's mocking Jiri Prochazka for the way he beat Glover Teixeira. Now, was he kind of losing that fight? Yeah, it was very competitive, I'll point out. But also, it doesn't matter, does it, right? He got the finish in the 5th round, which, by the way, is something Jamahal Hill could not do. You set a record for most significant strikes landed because you couldn't finish the guy that Jiri Prochazka finished. So you can just flip this and make you look like the shit one. Okay, that's one. Two, again, leaving out context, he likes to leave out that when Jiri Prochazka fought Glover, Glover was actually the champion, who had just came off of a dominant performance over Jan Blachowicz, right? So Jiri beat the guy that was the champ coming off of wins, and he finished him. You could paint that narrative. Jamahal Hill fought a guy that hadn't fought in about 6 months, who was coming off of a brutal 5-round war, and by the way, which he lost, okay? So this is why I think that Jamahal Hill, when he tries to oversimplify things like this, it actually hurts himself. You know, this is like his judge. This is how he judges whether or not somebody is accomplished or not, is apparently by if they have won a championship or something like that. But then he tries to discredit everybody else around him. I mean, if we look at things honestly, Magomed Ankalaev has a better resume than Jamahal Hill does. He just doesn't have gold attached to it, Okay, but Jamahal Hill didn't even beat a current champion, and he couldn't even finish the guy he's shitting on finished just 6 months prior.
Sweet Dreams Nation, it's really hilarious for the simple fact of we in camp right now. Like I said, I'm in Omaha. I've been down here with my guy Anthony Smith and the team over at Skywalker 101.
Now, I just included that part in there. This is basically the end of the video, guys. But Jamahal Hill says that he's training with Anthony Smith over at Skywalker or something like that. Well, I think I just wanted to correct the record here. Jamahal Hill is actually at Skinwalker Ranch because that's where Anthony Smith comes from. Okay, that's exactly where Anthony Smith comes from. So that's where Jamahal Hill is doing training camp, which, you know, considering the mental state, I am concerned for Jamahal Hill. Okay, do you understand? I mean, he is training with a fucking chimera, human pig hybrid or whatever from Skinwalker Ranch, who is not even doing well at this point in his career. So I don't know why you would brag about Anthony Smith, who is oftentimes just as delusional as you, being your training partner right now. But you know what, dude? Like I said at the beginning, I do think that Jamahal Hill probably knocks out Jiri Prochazka, and I think that Jamahal Hill could have made that argument, but a lot better and more effectively than he decided to do. Jiri Prochazka has basically zero defense. That's his entire style, is zero defense. Now, maybe Jiri Prochazka wears him out because he can take shots, but I think at this point that's probably not going to be the case. I think that Jiri Prochazka's chin is probably, you know, on its way out. But honestly, as much as I like Jiri Prochazka a lot more than I like Jamahal Salty Dreams Hill, I want Jamahal Hill to knock out Jiri Prochazka because I want Jamahal Hill to maybe get a rematch with Alex Pereira, because I would love to see the excuses he would make if he was to get knocked out again. Okay, guys, now that's it for this video. If you could like and subscribe, I would greatly appreciate it, dude. It helps out a ton. All right, you have a good rest of your day, good weekend, and all that stuff. Goodbye.